Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killerrodan. And I figured I would just do another video where it comes to comic book stuff, even though superhero comic book stuff isn't really my thing, if we be honest with you. But in this case, yes, I'm going back to the genre of comic books again. Of course, primarily superhero stuff, even though that's what's really popular, of course. And you can use comic books, superhero stuff to explore a variety of different stuff. But of course, leave it up to Fox News again to take stuff out of context. So yes, they're gonna complain about DC. I know DC had pretty much fucked up from time to time. I will admit that. But of course, there's a right way to criticize people, and there's a wrong way of criticizing people. And this is the wrong way of doing it because they'll blow stuff out of proportion, which they always do. This is a response to the character, the Joker, getting pregnant because there's one storyline where he's a female to male transsexual. So, of course, going to identify as a male despite the fact that he still has the lady parts in between his legs. And still managed to get pregnant, which isn't that much of a stretch, really, because this kind of a situation does happen in real life. And this specific storyline, I've already talked about this on my other channel, by the way, on my original channel. I've already spoke about it because if I ever criticize this for anything, is that I just do wish they could have created their own character instead of rather than just revamping an already existing character. That's like my biggest criticism I can say for this situation. Having diversity in itself isn't necessarily bad, but if you can go that far, why don't you just create your own character? By doing this, you're already doing that anyway. So it just seems rather lazy just to have a character that's already existed for years and for decades actually, and just completely change the character. You might as well do some other one for that case. However, the thing is, Fox News, they're just complaining about diversity. That's it. That's literally the only thing I can say about it when it comes to context. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. They already have a bad rap when it comes to trans people because they really hate trans people for some bizarre reason. So them complaining about trans people was already an issue by this point.
Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Tucker Carlson's.
By the way, transgenderism is not a word, okay? Just don't know that transgenderism is not an actual word. It's a thing that people like this made up. And of course, he works for Fox News, obviously. And yes, of course, he's claiming that the only reason that you're trans because you're part of a religion. So you mean to tell me they're gonna have all this expensive surgery and whatnot, among other things, many other things, because of some religion like body worship, something? What?
Happy Good Friday. This is the saddest and at the same time
So trans people are trying to ruin your happiness. Is that what you're getting at? What? That doesn't make sense.
by far the most hopeful day on the Christian calendar. There was a time not so long ago when the overwhelming majority of Americans observed Good Friday. They got up, they went to church, they talked about it at the office and at dinner that night. It was part of their culture. That's no longer true. Tonight, you wonder how many Americans even know it's Good Friday. So after hundreds of years, this has finally become a non-Christian country. But it's not a secular country. You sometimes hear people...
It's not a Christian country, and of course, you're again making a lot of shit up. Again.
call it that, but they are wrong. There are no secular countries. Every country has a religion because every person has a religion, even if it's atheism. Everybody worships something. We're born that way. We can't get away from it. So what is America's religion now? Well, as it happens, we have video. This is from St. Mark's Lutheran Church in Fargo, North Dakota. It was taken on April 2nd. That was the first Sunday after the mass killing in Nashville, in which...
Yes, he's claiming that trans women are school shooters, that they're a bunch of nutcases. That's a lie right off the bat.
3 adults and 3 children were murdered at a Christian school for being Christians. In the old America, Christian pastors would have preached about this. They would have acknowledged the evil on display, and they would have prayed for those who'd been killed. A form of that is still happening today, but the roles have been inverted. In America's new religion, the victims are not the children who died in Nashville. The victim is the woman who killed them.
Think of the children. Somebody, please. Think you're doing the whole argument again. Sure, pal.
Because Audrey Hale called herself transgender, she was, by definition, a holy martyr. Watch this pastor in a formerly Christian church compare Audrey Hale to Jesus.
Leaders were looking for any excuse, valid or not, to crucify Jesus. And they found that reason. It's baffling to me that someone's existence.
Oh, Christ almighty. Well, yes, there are some more progressive Christians who accept trans women, of course, but that's fine. But, of course, it's a logical fantasy anyway, because he's trying to make those individuals who are more accepting of trans people and whoever else as if they're a bunch of crazy nut jobs, which is a logical fallacy. Just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't automatically mean they're crazy. I mean, in some cases, it could, I guess, but you have to be specific on what that is. Just because somebody is trans while in high school, how does that mean that's bad? There's nothing wrong with wanting to be trans, okay? That's fine. If they feel like they're born in the wrong body, what's the harm of these individuals who want to correct this mistake and whatnot? They feel like they just want to be who they are. Anyway, let's just get into the clips, I guess you can say. And FYI, folks, DC Marvel had always been in politics. Ever since the introduction of the superhero genre, politics had gone way, way back. Yes, even in the golden age of comics, with the first issue of Superman. Superman himself is supposed to be an immigrant. So literally the very, very first issue of Superman, it had politics. Superman, of course, wants to do the right thing and whatnot when it comes to domestic violence, implying the strong concept of what justice is meant to be and who is at fault for these kinds of issues. Of course, X-Men Marvel isn't that far from off because X-Men is supposed to be an allegory for gay people. So with that being said, let's just dive deep into the clip I was referring to a moment ago. Here we go. Of course, there's been many introductions of the Joker. So this means the version that's pregnant is from an alternate reality. So it's like it's not even canon anyway. Oh boy. So yeah, the pregnant Joker is not even canon to begin with. So you don't necessarily have to read it if you don't want to, which makes this entire thing more useless than usual.
Critics are ripping President Biden for comparing asylum-seeking migrants to Jews fleeing Nazi Germany during the Holocaust.
Okay, we're just gonna leap into that. No other. Okay, just jump into it. No setup or anything. I don't know what this has to do with the whole Joker thing, but okay. Of course, the Jewish people has been persecuted, and I believe they're taking what Joe Biden out of context anyway because he's a Democrat. But these people praise Donald Trump, though. But okay.
I think it is a human right if you have if your family's being persecuted, if you're being dealt with in a way. I mean, like I thought it was a human right for, Jews in Germany to be able to go to get to escape and get help where they could.
So, in other words, Fox News is, of course, complaining about immigrants getting some assistance, some kind of way. Of course, they're skipping a whole lot of stuff to begin with because when you think about it, Donald Trump, when he was in office, he had a hate boner towards the Mexicans, of course, who are immigrants. So if there's going to be immigrants, there's going to be helped out. You're going to get mad at Joe Biden for doing that? I don't get it.
Joe Concha is joining us now. Joe, what?
Oh yeah, that's so funny. Oh my God, that's a real knee slapper. By the way, Joe Biden does help the trans community, in case you're wondering.
What do you make of what you just heard from the president?
I think if you're any family who had family members that survived the Holocaust or died in the Holocaust, does not matter. For him to use this comparison here, the commander-in-chief of the United States, talking about...
What are you talking about? I don't get it. You're already showing only a brief conference clip right there, folks. That's what they're doing. Only so a little bit of it and just make up their own conclusion. So they're all jumping to their own conclusion to basically make Joe Biden look bad just because he's a Democrat. That's it. And of course, he's friendly with the LGBT plus community. Yes, for the vast majority of this clip right here, they keep just, of course, just talking trash about Joe Biden. How dare he do this? How dare he trying to do some kind of comparison and whatnot? Of course, they just will replay the same clip over and over and over again. And this entire bit is just nothing more than just a logical fallacy because they're twisting the footage here up just to make him look bad. Again, just because of the fact he's friendly to the LGBT plus community, and just because he's a Democrat, acting as if he has some kind of sinister plan. Look at this entire thing as a black and white kind of thing. There's no merits or anything. Yes, those could be bad immigrants, and there could be good immigrants. There's gonna be good and bad people ever, no matter where you go. So whatever country that said person is from doesn't really matter because you're gonna be good or bad at the end of the day. What does any of this have to do with the whole Joker being pregnant? Because he was formerly a she, now he is a he. I don't know. I'm guessing they're trying to use this as a segue to the whole Joker bit because, like I just said, he did help the LGBT plus community quite much, at least to some extent anyway. I guess help is help no matter what, I guess. But still, though, you're trying to use this as a segue to talk shit about DC. Of course, furthermore, even in this day and age, there's even more politics in Superman as well. That has happened before. So, of course, what I'm trying to get at is that they hardly talk about the comic book themselves. They hardly ever do. And when they ever do that, they'll just cherry pick on the bits of information they want to use, just like we did with Joe Biden there. Just cherry picking on the information and just twist it around to make him look bad. This is the digital age, or I should say information age, is that you could actually look up that very footage on your own and judge it for your own eyes. I know most people who watch this stuff are boomers, really. They don't know how to do that, really, but still. You can do the same exact thing with comic book movies, of course, because they'll just take stuff out of context, twist it around, and just ignore what's going on in the movie, or in this case, the comic, versus what they believe to be right. What's going on in their head does not match the reality of the situation. So, of course, they're trying to make as if that trans people are a bunch of crazy individuals, of course. Just because some of them are bad doesn't mean the entire community is. Which, of course, they ignore that fact just because it goes against what their agenda is doing and claim that the other side has an agenda and just claim that that's what they're doing. Immediately, if anyone's catching up here, that's two logical fallacies right there. Right there, right there. Oh, Christ, it's easy to pick apart because they clearly have not done the research whatsoever. Which is a shame because they're supposed to be professionals, right? So.
Joe, I want to get your thoughts on this. There is a bizarre new Batman story.
Oh, Christ, again. Oh, this is so bizarre. It's so weird. It's so odd. It's not canon anyway, to the other side, like I was saying before. And anyway, guys, that's kind of besides the point. This is gaslight. Again, a logical fantasy. Trying to make the other person like they're the nutcase, as I was saying before. So how is being trans nutcase? I mean, I wish they could have created their own character instead of revamping the Joker, but again, that's besides the point. Oh boy, very low IQ stuff.
That has the Joker becoming pregnant and giving birth. This is a statement you literally could not say 10 years ago, but this is the world in which we live now. Look, we've had comic book fans on this very show saying no one is buying this drivel. So
again, insulting trans people. That's all you're doing. All you're doing is just throwing insults at trans people. Oh, it's drivel. And of course, what's with the constant yelling? Why do we have to yell here? Why are we so angry? Oh, Christ. I mean, the only reason you're paying attention to this is just the fact that in this continuity, he's trans. That's it. That's literally it. Well, how's this newsworthy?
Why, instead of reading the market and sort of stopping the woke garbage?
Again, what's with the insult? And how is it garbage? Did you even read the book? You're just going off the notion that the Joker's trans. The Joker's trans. Trans. That's all you're saying here. Somehow it's an insult? There's plenty of games that made a truck ton of money off of this. Look at the game you're watching in the background. Life is Strange, the first one. That's some LGBT community stuff going on. That was a massive hit. Do I really have to? Okay, this is so stupid. Dragon Age Inquisition, and then there's Life is Strange, the first one here. Life is Strange Before the Storm, the prequel, and then the other one, Life is Strange True Colors, Injustice 2, just to name a few. Oh yeah, let's not forget about Cyberpunk 77, and then there's also Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. So just right about there's quite a few there. And I've said this multiple times already. You can't separate the woke culture and the LGBT plus community. So again, what's the problem? You still didn't explain nothing. And those games did pretty well in the free market when you think about it. Okay, it kind of depends which version, but the Sims game allows the LGBT plus community to be in it, and then The Last of Us 1 and 2. There was that, of course. And Night in the Woods, I believe, of course. And then another game called Tell Me Why. Then another one called Dream Daddy, a Daddy Dating Simulation. So again, it's quite a few right about. All did fairly well in the free market, like I just said a moment ago. So
Strategy, they're doubling down on woke.
No longer the Joker, now he's the woker, right? I mean, this is what we're dealing with at this point. Apparently, he got pregnant because somebody that he is in opposition to cast a spell on him. So it's not like the Joker became transgender. It's because who knows and who cares, right? I mean, it seems like
again, with the gaslighting, that's again belittling. That's a form of gaslighting right there. Which again is another logical fallacy. Oh, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Look at me, I'm yelling! More yelling! Obviously you care. You're taking this seriously. You're acting as if there's some kind of joke. Obviously you care. I mean, I know he's saying that as a way to counter whoever's criticizing him. Like they're the enemy. Like some... Right, this makes my head hurt. So stupid.
everything now has to be impacted, including comic books, which is like the ultimate escapism for children and even adults alike. But instead, as we've seen with Disney, as we've seen with so many movies, we have to go down this route where we inject this sort of stuff into what otherwise, usually used to be a safe zone. No longer the case. Ashley, Todd.
I'm sorry, but if you saw those images, I mean, it's disgusting to me.
Am I sure I'm talking about some adults here? This does not come off like adults because it's belittling and insulting. Again, this is what little kids would do. So what's so disgusting about what exactly? He still has the female genitalia between his legs. It's still functional, obviously. And you still haven't given me any idea what the story is about. You glanced over it. Christ, this is stupid.
To see this. I mean, I understand it's a comic, but at the same time, like you said, Joe, it's every single place we turn to now. It's like we cannot escape it.
And you talked about Randy Weingarten before with Dr. Sapphire. And
let's see. Okay, the Star Wars games, Knights of the Old Republic featured a lesbian character, and then the Fable games did the same thing. 2 and 3 to be more specific, and then Mass Effect Series 1 through 4, just to name some more, of course. And those were fairly successful. So how is that they're acting as if they don't care about money? It's certainly going to be go woke or go broke, however that goes. It's so stupid.
As far as the teachers' unions and everything that has gone on since COVID began, and one thing that happened, for instance, in Florida was a law called the Parental Rights and Education Bill, which was called the Don't Say Gay Bill, even though the word gay it wasn't in it whatsoever. But the bottom line is that as young as kindergartners are being taught about.
And with the logical fallacies. See, you're pulling my hand. They're trying to force me to accept this. Oh, Christ almighty. This is so stupid. That's gaslighting too, by the way. When you think about it, that's exactly what this is. What are you, a narcissist? That's how it's coming off, but okay.
About sexual orientation, gender identification, and Ron DeSantis said enough. All right, we're not dealing with this at that level with teachers teaching kids this. So that's where we are at this point. Even in our schools, we can't escape just not doing the basic blocking and tackling we should be doing.
Right. Okay, Joe Concha, thank you for getting up with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, that's where this ends. Of course, trying to act as if that they're trying to destroy the school system. They're trying to destroy what it means to be a good person. They're trying to, it's like us against them kind of thing, me against you, like an A-B kind of thing. They're viewing this in a very narrow-minded thinking, as if that their lives are under attack. But of course, this entire thing's made up. That's what they're talking about. Does not exist. It's a made-up problem. That's how we can tell that they're lying, because this entire thing is just made up. It's all made up. They're just making shit up to make it as if to get people emotionally and which of course is manipulative when you think about it. So again, there's nothing wrong with being trans. Leave them alone. They're not bothering you. You're bothering them. And then if they attack back, you act as if they're doing something wrong here. Anyway, that'll be it, folks. This is so dumb. Thanks for watching. See ya.